Hi, we're Bastille. We are a band from London.
Mein Name ist Woody.
I'm Dan.
I'm Kyle.
And my name is Will.
Our band name is something that we apparently mispronounce horribly.
Yeah, we in our terrible English accents we say Bastille, even though it's clearly Bastille in French. With that Bastille. And it's quite an embarrassing reason. My birthday's on the 14th of July, which is in France Bastille Day, and we were looking for a band name and struggling, and one of my friends suggested it, and I don't know, we all thought it sounded cool. And in England, people don't really know much about it, so we sort of just went with it. And since we've been, playing in various countries around Europe, people are much more interested in it, and I think interrogate us quite a lot more. We keep getting asked loads of history questions.
We should really do some research.
No, it's just my birthday, which is really embarrassing. But yeah, we should probably do some research. Except you got it really, like the other day, you bang in with a date.
1789? Is
Yes.
that when it was stormed?
To the day.
Yes?
Yeah.
That's it. The one Bastille fact, I'll pull that out in the next interview.
I'd been writing some songs and recorded a few of them, and thanks. I knew Woody and Will. We'd known each other for a few years and had played music together. Over the summer of 2010, I kept seeing Kyle at parties and being like, "You should join our band, man." And he was like, "Yeah, whatever, shut up." And then eventually, I properly pinned him down and made him come to rehearsal.
You're playing for my band.
Locked you in the door.
Say it.
And yeah, at the end of 2010, we started rehearsing and called ourselves Bastille. And then, did our first gig at the beginning of 2012. 11. Comes after 10.
Yes.
A lot of the songs, as I said, kind of started with me kind of writing them and starting to record them, and then us working on them kind of in the studio. And then, so with the first batch, when we were kind of rehearsing, it was about figuring out how we could do it. And it was a bit of a kind of learning curve, because it was never like four guys in a room with an instrument each jamming or learning how, working something that way. So it's always been, I don't know, the live side of things has always been a bit, in a nice way, of a kind of challenge of how we're going to replicate this live. But we made the album. I kind of recorded the demos in my room on my laptop, and then we worked with our friend called Mark Crew, and he has a tiny little basement studio in South London.
But a big heart.
With a big heart. We basically recorded the album in a kind of a room about that big.
About that big.
About that big, yeah. In South London over the course of last year, and just sort of pieced it together while in breaks from sort of touring. In the process of writing the album and recording it, there wasn't really a kind of central theme in mind, but it having been finished and stepping back from it, I think there's quite a lot about sort of anxieties of growing up and realising that you're an adult. And I think for me, it's a load of stories, like little scenes or bits of dialogue from bigger stories, but they're all kind of, and this wasn't intentional, but they're all, I think, a little bit, all the characters are being like slightly self-reflective or kind of commenting on each other, which can make for quite depressing music. But I don't know, I think some of the album, I think there's the points where it gets really heavy. I think, like, there's a song called The Weight of Living Part 2 on the album, which is kind of, the lyrics are just so bleak, and it's just about kind of, I don't know, like one of the central lines is, "Do you like the person you've become?" Which is just kind of absurdly dark and kind of sad. But I think we sort of like framed it in a really upbeat pop song to kind of take the piss out of the fact that it's so bleak. Because I think a lot of people have like a split second in their life where you're suddenly kind of burdened by responsibility and stuff and freak out a bit, but then you immediately realise that that's just what life is like, I think, and you've just got to get on with it. So the point of that song was to kind of, I guess, undermine how dark it is by being also really upbeat at the same time, which I think, I don't know, hopefully it works and doesn't sound too mental.
Will's highly unemployable for one.
Yeah, I have no options. I literally can barely read, so it's kind of this or
death.
yeah,
Live on the streets.
live on the streets. Although that in the summer, maybe I should have
Be
gone.
nice
with
out
that.
here.
We said when the band falls apart, we're going to share a cardboard box.
Yeah, be nice.
I think all of us kind of are doing this because I don't really know what else I'd be doing with my life. I kind of wanted to be a journalist for a while. We've all had loads of really rubbish jobs, and I think we just feel really lucky to be able to do this. Our first official gig was at a festival in Brighton in England called The Great Escape, which we weren't sure if anyone was going to come, and then luckily they did, and it was quite busy, and I don't know, I was probably throwing up with terror, so I was getting really nervous. But I think before that we did a couple of kind of warm-up gigs, and
They were empty.
they were empty.
The very first warm-up one we did, I never told you this, it was like really empty, and then I got stood up on a date afterwards, and it was a bad
mate.
time
No
for me
way.
that night.
That wasn't an unannounced gig, to be fair.
I know,
But yeah, I mean, we were like, it was so ramshackle at the beginning. Like, I think we'd been rehearsing for a few months, but there's a big difference between being, at
Rehearsal room ready,
rehearsing in the rehearsal room at 1 a.m, and then being suddenly on stage. I think I was kind of like terrified and staring at the floor. We all didn't really know what to do, but we got through it, and hopefully I think it's a little bit better than that now. A little bit, not that much.